that my place, my state or my country has got conducive environment, has got environment which will be salubrious, which will be healthy for your business. So everyone's trying to sell something or other. Now, in this nature, if I talk about the roles of sales personnel, individual, that becomes very, very vital. Because there would be product, let's say industrial product, or something which requires one-to-one interaction, maybe a life insurance. So there, if the sales personnel are not equipped, they are not convincing, they are not presentable, they won't be able to sell to the customer. And if you are not selling to the customer, it means very simple, that you are not making money, that you are not making money or revenue for the company. And then it becomes difficult for a company to survive. So sales people who are responsible for selling, they are responsible for getting the revenue. They are responsible for getting their sales target, which they get in the beginning of the quarter or financial year. So we should be very, very clear about it. So we spoke about nature of sales management, which can be understood with 3 points: integration with marketing, the scope of sales management, and also the roles and the skills what a sales individual, what a sales personnel function. Moving ahead, look at this. Now, how it has evolved. Tomorrow, if somebody asks you that, talk about the evolution of sales management. I just mentioned there was no concept of selling before industrial evolution, because whatever was produced, it was sold very happily. But due to the invent of machine, the production started growing manifold, and it was required to sell. Now, Britain or England doesn't have that kind of demand. So it became very, very imperative to sell things emphatically. So after Industrial Revolution in UK and USA, especially, the concept of marketing came in. And whatever marketing today we are seeing is like marketing research or advertising or distribution or branding. It came after 18th century, 19th century, and now today it's rampant. So before Industrial Revolution, it was not happening. I mean, the concept of marketing was not there. Whatever it was produced, it was sold happily. But after that, it became important, and the company realized this thing, that we need to have a special and a specialized and expert people to sell our product. And this selling will be different from marketing. Marketing will do other things, selling will do another set of things. This is how sales management or sales evolved over a period of time. Now look at this. If tomorrow somebody asks you a very simple question, explain or differentiate between sales and marketing. Now here are the differences. I have told you, sales is a part of marketing. Marketing is outside in approach. Selling is inside out approach. Whatever I produce, I go and sell it. Okay? It says selling has a product focus. The entire focus is to sell the product. Whereas marketing is, the last point, is going and talking to the end user, trying to understand and then design a product so that they should be very happy because we were able to satisfy their need and their want. So though people use these two terms, interchangeably, but there are differences. That marketing is very dynamic in terms of it has got a wider scope, a wider approach, because it involves many things: research, distribution, advertising, I told you. Whereas selling has got only one thing to do: sell, sell, sell. That's it. that becomes a difference between selling and marketing, and that is the role of sales in marketing function. I'll move. Now, we'll talk about sales management, formulation of sales strategy. Now, I would like you guys to read this thing. Here we talk about what I said, sales management is a management of personal sale. So here, the sales manager, the people who are leading that function, their duty is to plan, to make strategies, to organize the resources, and to sell the product. And also, once the product is sold, to get the revenue, and also to give after sales services, which can be done after taking the feedback. That is the entire gamut, G-A-M-U-T, entire gamut of a sales force, or the manager or the person who is involved in selling. So a manager who is heading that sales manager has got the job which involves the internal, when I say internal, I mean within the organization and also outside the organization, because he has to go or she has to go and sell the product. So the marketing team might ask you about the feedback, about the customer reaction to whatever we are selling. So we must be able to tell them that how the market is receiving your product. What is the reaction of market about our product or services? So these strategies, when I talk about sales management, it involves planning, organizing the resources, organizing the strategies, and then executing them. Execution means selling the product, getting the money, and also giving an after sales services. I hope this is clear. We'll move. Now, when we talk about management, and I'm sure you would have heard another word called corporate governance. In fact, I have discussed about corporate governance in strategic management, if I'm not wrong. So even in sales management, there are ethics. There are values involved. It means that you have to sell the product, but not by cutting corners. They're saying like, you have to sell by begging, borrowing, or stealing. No. If your product and if your services are good enough, and they are in the position to solve a customer need and want, there is no need of cutting corners. There is no need of lying to your customer or to your prospective customer. So you need to have a lot of ethics. You need to have values while conducting this business, because it involves money. And if there is ethics in the sales management, even the working environment will be conducive, will be healthy, will be positive, and people would love to work over there. If you see the last fourth point, it says it has 4 aspects: policies and rules of the companies, trust and responsibility, peer behavior, and sales emphasis. The entire environment has got a lot of effect, a lot of impact on the sales team. So your policies, your rules, the trust factor, the peer group, my colleagues, and also what is the emphasis on making a sale. So all these factors makes the sales team very dynamic and very exciting. So there must be ethics and values involved into this thing. So finally, in this unit number 1, we learned about the definition of sales management, its scope, nature. We also spoke about the ethics involved into it. We spoke about That why sales management is important for an organization, because it gets money for you. So I am sure this unit would have given you a very basic idea of what exactly the sales management is. How sale is different from marketing, I'm sure. We also understood the difference between SALL sale and SALE sale. So by this, we have finished up unit number 1. We'll move to unit number 2, which is diversity of selling situation. Now here we'll talk about different types of personal selling, a definition of personal selling, the qualities and abilities, what is required in a sales personnel in order to be successful in this field. So here we'll talk about this thing. So look at this. The first point I would like you to read. Let's understand what exactly is personal selling. It says direct communication between the employees and the prospective customer or the existing customer, which lead to transaction, which will lead to the fulfillment of the need of the consumer, and in the process making profits or getting revenue for the organizations. Very simple. Personal selling or direct communication, there is no via into it. There are no middlemen involved into it. Direct communication between the sales employees, between the executive and the customer. It can be prospective. Prospective means who can become your customer. As of now, they have not bought your product or services, or maybe existing customer. And that leads to transaction, purchase, and realization of revenue and making profit out of it. Now there's another term called salesmanship. You see in the second point. So, and personal selling, are they the same? We need to understand that. What it says, salesmanship, that provides prospective buyers with information and motivates them to make favorable decisions concerning the seller product or services. Whereas personal selling is different. Personal selling, when I talk about salesmanship, it means I am giving information concerning with my product and services, and also coaxing them, also motivating the customer to buy my product or services. Whereas personal selling not only give you the information, but it also helps you to decipher your social behavior, your social dynamics, and it provides the right solution for your problem. Again, I will repeat. Salesmanship only gives you information of whatever they have, and they will try to motivate you to make a purchase. Whereas personal selling is an individual, or is like a one-to-one interaction or exchanging of communication, considering your social dynamics and bringing only the right solution to you. Whereas salesmen only give information and will motivate you. But in personal selling, it takes care of your social behavior also and helps you to get the right solution for your problem. Not only solution. Because personal selling becomes a personal thing. When you interact personally with the customer, it might be a prospective customer or existing customer. So here we spoke about the personal selling, the difference between salesmanship and personal selling will move. Now, why it is important? Why it is important? The first thing says because of the complication in the nature of products has given birth to personal selling. When I talk about, let's say, a couple of sectors like FMCG, fast moving consumer goods. Now in FMCG, if I have to talk about the distribution network, there is no direct involvement because it has got wholesaler, retailer. There are people who act like middlemen. They are not part of their sales force. And they are the end user. They are in touch with the end users. But when we talk about industrial product, when I talk about product which has got complications, which is complex in nature, like buying a car, buying a house, where somebody must be there from the company to explain me the things, to give a personal touch. Because personal selling facilitates whatever query I have. I'm a customer, I want to buy, let's say, a SUV, sports utility vehicle. Maruti has just launched Jimny. Now I would like to buy it. So if I like to buy it, I would like to go and see the things over there. And whatever issues I have, whatever problem I have, the sales force would answer me, would give me all the details of the queries what I have. So it depends upon the nature of the product. Other example could be luxury good. Now if something costing me, let's say 5 lakhs or a crore, 100 lakhs, I need somebody to talk to me, to give me an idea what exactly it is. So nature of product has brought up this concept of personal selling and the importance which has been attached to it. So this is why personal selling is important. We'll move ahead. Now we'll talk about situation conducive for personal selling. Now why personal selling becomes important or vital because of certain factors. The first is product situation, market situation, company situation, and consumer behavior situation. Product situation, I told you. Complexities in product. Market situation, it requires, it needs. Because other competitions are also doing. The market has become very dynamic. It keeps on changing. So it requires somebody to explain the things. Company situation, yes. Even company wants that. If company has got a proper sales team, they will promote personal selling. Because once you go and meet a customer, you'll figure out he's going to have different types of needs, wants. You'll figure out the feedback. You'll figure out what exactly or how much more he expects. And finally, consumer behavior situation, the way I act. When somebody calls me on, let's say, like on phone, are you interested, like telemarketers, are you interested in taking a loan? On phone, I would say, no, I'm not interested. But if somebody says, I would like to come to you, come and meet you to explain things about this loan, maybe I'll be happy because I will be able to get answers to my questions, which is not at all feasible on phone, even though it's feasible on phone, but again, one-to-one interaction that generates a confidence in consumer's mind. So these are the factors which are important or which makes personal selling important. We'll move. Now look at this. Now if I talk about after post-industrial era, and today we are sitting in 21st century, 2023. Now the role of a salesperson, the role of the sales force has completely, have completely hauled up. A lot of water has flown down the Ganges. It means their role has changed immensely. Now from there, from simply selling the product and services, now have become a part of your company. I have used the word consultant. Now because they come and sit with you, they come and discuss the things with you. And they see that what problems you are facing. And accordingly, they try to customize solutions for you. So when I talk about the roles, the first is what you're seeing is communication strategy. They communicate to you. Look, I have got this thing. And if I don't tell you, you won't be able to understand. You won't be able to know at what the market is selling. After communicating, they also have got a job to persuade you. Persuade you in the sense, they will not pester you, but at least they will say this is important and this is vital for the growth of your company. And if you agree to it, then they have got this negotiation strategy where you say something else, they will say something else, and then you arrive to a mutually beneficial rate or some deal. So even in negotiation, they have got a role to play. So first one is communication, second is persuasion, third is negotiation, client profit planning strategy. It's always, you should always remember this thing, that you should not kill the goose in one day. Because if the client is not surviving, if the client is not thriving, will not be able to make a repeat sale. So whatever you offer, that offering should help the client's business. Because if he makes money, he will give you repeat order. But if he doesn't make money, what he will say? He will simply say, no, I cannot give the money to you. And then that's the end of your deal. One-time purchase and the customer is gone. So the salesman should be, or the salesperson should be very, very careful about it. And the last one is like a business management strategy. As the sales force, they keep on moving in the market. They visit many companies in the same industry. So they understand what the competition is doing. So they will try to help you, or they might give you some ideas which can help your business or which can help to manage your business. Though ethically they are, because company will not share everything with you, but whatever point or whatever some information you can garner, you can share. Because what happens, if you are sharing, everyone is growing, the industry is growing, and competition, healthy competition is very, very important. So these are the roles of a salesperson which has gone tremendous or has been overramped through different years. So we'll move. Now we talk about types of personal selling. We understood personal selling. We understood the difference between salesmanship and personal selling. We just spoke about different kind of a role they have to play, and now I'll talk about different types of personal selling. Industrial selling, business product. I have to sell, let's say, like a cooling plant, or maybe like an ERP based solution. So there I have to approach business houses because they are my clients, and they require a one-to-one interaction. The first thing is like retail selling, very important, especially with the FMCG company, HUL, P&G, ITC, Godrej, you name it. Now these companies, they have got distribution network where they are wholesalers, retailers. So though a customer is, a sales executive is not directly in touch with the customer, but he is in touch on regular basis with the wholesaler and retailer. So from there, he gets the idea, he gets the views, he gets the feedback. That's what market, how market is reacting. So in both the things we spoke about, industrial selling, retail selling, now third is services selling. Okay, services where there are no products involved. Services intangible in nature, maybe corporate gifting. Corporate houses, they give gifts to fellow customers, to their competitors during festival season. Now they don't have expertise in that. So there are third party which are into this business and they will give you customized solution. IT companies, consultancy. Now these are the example of services. So consultancy firms like KPMG, PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, they are into this business. So there also it requires one-to-one interaction approach. So these are the types of personal selling: industrial selling, retail selling, and services selling. I hope this is clear. We'll move. Now look at this. Now we'll talk about approaches. How you should go about doing a personal selling. Personal selling, you understood, one-to-one interaction. Now there are 5 methods, approaches. One is stimulus response. Stimulus response. Now there is an advertisement. So that stimulus has triggered a need. So customer will give you a call. Okay, I need this thing. So you go and simply attend to it. That is like an example of stimulus response. Second is mental states, like we talk about IDAS. It's a short form. IDAS stand for attention, interest, desire, action, and satisfaction. I will talk in unit number 3 in detail about this thing. Where like, because of your product, because of your presentation, you create an interest. You create or you get his attention. Once you have his attention, you encourage the interest in him. Now you got his attention, you got him interested, him or her. Now there is desire to purchase. And the last stage is action. Now he wants to buy it. So S stands for selling or satisfaction, whatever you want to see. Now once it acts or the customer acts, they will make a purchase. And the last S is like, he must be satisfied with the with the product. So this approach is known as IDAS approach or mental approach. Third is need satisfaction, where I have a need and an executive from the company comes and accordingly sell the things to me, and I get my need fulfilled. Like March is approaching. Now there would be people who have to save taxes. So what they will do, they will buy insurance, they will buy some government bonds. So they will give a call to insurance agent or insurance executive, because I have to save money, I have to invest somewhere. So they will come and sell it to you. Need satisfaction. Problem solving. Again, I have to save taxes, so I need to buy it. Or I have got a plan which has got, which has developed some knack, some snag. I'm so sorry. It's not knack, some snag, some problem. Now I give a call to a company who is dealing into the spare part of my plant. They will come and replace it, and that will be solved. And the last one is consultative, where like the business house and the sales force, the sales team, they sit together. Take an example I remember, and I find this example very, very relevant. When Tata was developing nano car, they invited all their vendors. Vendors means the companies which are in the business of supplying parts to them. And they sat together, and Ratan Tata said, "Yeah, I have to manufacture a car within 1 lakh. You do whatever you have to do, but give me parts which will be effective but not very costly." And the vendors of Tata, they deliver it. So that becomes a consultative approach to personal selling, where you sit together, understand the problem, and then you customize, you tweak it, your offering, so that the producer gets what he wants. I hope this is clear. We'll move. Now, we'll talk about the qualities and skill of an effective salesperson. Now, there are many. He should be confident, well-dressed, well presentable, knowledgeable about the product and some and services. The list is exhaustive. But if I have to say, and if I have to quote Philip Kotler, he talks about only two vital qualities. That is empathy and persuasion. Now, empathy is very simple. Empathy means that you have to put yourself in the shoes of customer. But what he needs, what he will feel or what he feels about the problem, about my product. And once you are okay with that, then you try to persuade him. Persuasion is important because maybe customer doesn't understand now. But if you give sufficient logic, he would be able to see the logic in your persuasion and will buy it. So the lists are exhaustive. You can write many things, but Kotler says 2 points: empathy and persuasion. That should be very, very vital in a salesman. Hopefully this is clear. And now we'll talk about the nature of activities in sales situation. I think what are expected out or from a salesman or from a sales force is mentioned over there, that you should be in touch with customer, you should be having knowledge about the product and the services, you should be attending different seminars, trade shows, workshops, and keep records of what you have learned, new things which are coming in the market. You should jot down the feedback of the customer so that you can share when the time is required or when you are asked. Your sales target and your achievement, the number of clients, how they are acting, how they are behaving, all those things are expected out of a salesman. I hope this is clear. And this is how we end this unit 2, where we spoke about personal selling. We spoke about the difference between personal selling and salesmanship. We also spoke about the qualities of a salesman. We spoke about the role it plays or he or she plays, or what are expected out of him in terms of his or her activities. So I hope this is clear. In the first unit, we spoke about the sales management. In the second unit, we spoke in detail about the personal selling. We also spoke about the different types of personal selling, industrial, retailing, and services. I hope this is, you remember this thing. So moving ahead, now we'll talk about unit 3, where we talk about selling and selling processes. Okay, and this will put more focus on IDAs, what I said about the approaches. We also spoke about difference between personal selling, advertising. We'll talk about promotion mix and other things as well. So moving ahead, look at this. As I said, the goal of any organization, when you are doing a business, you are not doing charity. You are here to make money, to create wealth, but obviously by ethical means. So different industries will have different types of selling process. Here we'll talk about industrial as well as FMCG industry. So we'll see. We all know about the personal selling. Now, if I have to talk about, let's say, marketing mix. In short form, we call it 4Ps, given by McCarthy: product, price, place, and promotion. Now here I will take promotion, and here in this slide we'll discuss about the promotion mix as well. Now promotion mix has got 6 ingredients. It starts with the personal selling, advertising, public relation, direct marketing, publicity, and sales promotion. So 6 components, they come together collectively, they build promotion mix. So now we'll see about the process. Now look at this. Advertising and personal selling. If you remember, we spoke about the definition of personal selling is a one-to-one interaction. But if I have to give you the example of advertising, now advertising, the definition is non-personal presentation of good and ideas of an identified manufacturer. Now, if you are seeing an advertisement on TV, will that be example of personal selling or advertising? Now, please don't say personal selling, because that's an advertising. Amitabh Bachchan coming and selling Noratna Tel. I don't know if he uses it or not, but still. Now, Amitabh Bachchan doesn't come to my home and say, hey, why don't you use this tail? So, non-personal presentation of ideas or views. Whereas in personal selling, the executive will come to me. Will come to my office and talk to me. So that becomes a difference between a personal selling and advertising. I hope this is clear. You will not mix these two terms. Now look at this. We will talk about personal selling. When I say significance, I would like to say, another word could be importance. Why it is important? We also discussed this thing in the previous slides, the previous unit, because the nature of product. Okay, customer needs one-to-one attention. When you are going to a company or to a prospective customer, you become the brand ambassador of your company. That also helps in form of advertisement. When I'm going and meeting my customer, my prospective customer, I also get feedbacks which I come back and tell to my company. We already know that personal selling gets the revenue. And gets the job done. It means, when I say job done, it means it helps me to achieve my sales target. So that's why the personal selling becomes very, very important. Moving ahead, now there are different theories of selling, which talks about 4 major theories. IDAs, which I told you, attention, interest, desired action, and satisfaction. We have discussed this thing in the slide, that you have to be, have your sales speech in that way that you should get attention of your prospective buyer. No, he should be interested and desire and would have desire to act. And once he acts, he buys it, and he gets satisfied because his or her needs are fulfilled. Now, other theory, right sets of circumstances theory. You should create situation in such a way. You should create situation in such a way that the environment becomes, the circumstances become conducive for the buy. It means the prospect should not be threatened, that you are pushing the things, the customer or the prospective customer does not require it. But you give the presentation, your sales pitch would be in such a fashion that all the circumstances become conducive for the sale. Buying formula theory. Why a customer require it? Why a customer require it? If I have to buy, let's again, I will give an example of a car. Why I need this thing? Because I have to travel from one place to another. So there must be things which should be made in such a way that customer understands it and then go for a buy. And last is behavioral equation theory, which again talks about the behavior of a customer, its social nature, social interaction. If somebody is like, let's say, an adventurous guy, or maybe a youngster who has just started working and has got money, and he would like to experiment. So if I am launching new things, if I'm starting, let's say, a new restaurant, so I am sure that a lot of people will come to me because they would like to experiment. As youngsters are, if they have money, they are more adventurous in nature. They would like to experiment things, which is not very true for an individual or for a company which is traditional in nature. They would only like to go for things which are settled, which are standards. So I should be knowing about this thing. These are the 4 main theories of selling. I'll move. Now, you may ask, that, okay, we got this idea of what is personal selling, how personal selling is different from salesmanship advertising. Now, how we go about doing it. Now, obviously, as everything has a process, even personal selling has an approach. First and first, it starts with pre-prospecting and qualifying. Take an example that I have to sell a computer, or maybe a supercomputer. Now I can only sell supercomputer to the companies which are into IT sector, or maybe some government bodies, or anything or any organization which has to do with supercomputers. You don't go and sell the supercomputers to an individual, because that I don't require that kind of speed and that kind of capacity. So first thing is like, I should be able to filter. I must be able to filter the companies which might use supercomputer. So that's the pre-prospecting and qualifying. Second is pre-approach. Now I will find out their number, their contact number, their address, the person who is responsible for making a purchase. That is pre-approach. Third is approaching the prospect. Now you give a call and you say, I would like to come to you, so give me some time for an appointment. So you go over there and then you understand the person's the organization needs. And you come back, you customize your offering and go second time to showcase your product or your services via some presentation or demonstration. And then comes the negotiation part. Now customer is okay with your offering. Now that comes to the price part. You will have something else, you will have something else. Then after a couple of rounds of negotiation, then you will arrive. Or if there is any question from the prospective buyer, you will answer it, you will try to solve it, and then you close the deal. You sell the product, you get the money. But that's not the end of the selling process. The last but not the least is the taking the feedback and follow up. I spoke about ASS, after sales services. So you keep a track that how the product is functioning. Is the customer happy, or any clarification or some issue, then you try to solve it. So this 7 steps are the component of selling process. When I say selling process, I mean personal selling process. I hope this is clear. Now, when we talk about this, in the end, if I have to talk about again, in this unit, we spoke about personal selling. We also spoke about advertising, that how advertising is different from personal selling. Here we discuss 4 P's given in my car theme. And in that 4 P's, there is one promotion. And even promotion has got different components. And these 6 components, like advertising, personal selling, publicity, direct marketing, sales promotion, they form part of promotion mix. We also spoke about the personal selling approach, that how a personal selling is executed. And it has 7 steps involved, starting with prospecting, that is like filtering, qualifying. I'll give you an example of a supercomputer. You can take example of any of the things. And this is for an industrial product. But take another example of that if I am in the business of selling, let's say, luxury good. I'm a sales manager of a company called Coco Chanel, which is in the business of making bags, watches, perfumes. Now I need to understand who could be the buyer. Though Coco Chanel doesn't sell personally, they have got exclusive retail outlet, maybe in some 5-star hotels. But I should be able to understand, I should be doing some research that which part of India or which part of a state where people have got buying capacity will purchase it. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense where people have no purchasing capacity, no purchasing power of luxury good, and you have opened a showroom over there. So 7 steps involved, and out of 7 steps, if somebody asks you which one is the most important out of the 7 steps, then I'm sure everyone would be having a different idea. But if you ask me that personally, what is the best or what is the most vital steps in that entire 7 steps? So I will go for the first and the last one. Last one, when the sale is made. The first one, because if I'm unable to target the right set of people or the right set of company, I won't be able to close my deal. Because if I get someone or some company which is not as per my offering, then I do whatever. I leave no stone unturned, but still I won't be able to make or close the deal. Because they are not my target group, and they can simply say, these products, I don't require it. You don't go and start selling coal in Newcastle. Newcastle is a place in England where there is a lot of production of coal. Now you don't go and sell coal because coal is already over there. You don't go and sell sweaters in southern India, in Tamil Nadu, because they don't have that cold climate. They have got maritime climate because of the nearness to sea. There is hardly the temperature goes below 50 or 20 degree centigrade. So the first and the last would be very important in terms of if I am able to close the deal. So taking feedback and being in the customer, being in touch with the customer always gives confidence to those people who have bought my product or services, because it will give a message that we care for them. It's not like we have made a fool of them and it's like a one-time sale and now we don't care because we have got the money. So if you ask me, that becomes a very, very important thing. So with this, we have come to the end of block number 1. Tomorrow we'll start block number 2. So thank you so much for joining in. I hope this was clear, the sales management. Thank you once again. Namaste.
The free built-in YouTube video editor is a simple but surprisingly powerful.
Okay.